show just how much progress has been made in South African off-road racing. Mark Corbett and Gavin Kelsey were back in the lead in the Century Property Development's bat. A puncture early on in the race dropped them down the leaderboard, and it took them half the race to work their way to the front of the field. Gibson and Brown needed a strong finish to get their championship campaign off to a good start. Local farmer Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane were third overall and the Class B leaders, and would have to maintain this pace if they hoped to keep Gary Campbell in the Class B Mighty Mag at bay. Harper and Chalupsky had settled in well after a long sabbatical and had worked their way up to 5th overall and 3rd in Class A in the Audi V8 powered bat, while Van Jaarsveld and Lindeque were still in contention for the Class B win on the Nissan Sugarbelt 400. Corbett and Goosen had picked up 2 punches during the race, which dropped them down to 3rd in Class B. Marsh and Whitehouse were fighting their way back into contention after losing 25 minutes in the pits and a further 20 minutes when they got stuck behind another vehicle in a sandy, dry riverbed. The Stubbs brothers soldiered on in the Fencer-Wrecked Viper and were 9th overall and 4th in Class B. Nissan Sugarbelt 400 special vehicle leaders Mark Corbett and Gavin Kelsey paid a quick visit to the pits. Clint Gibson and Mike Brown slotted early in the race and then had a puncture, and to make matters worse, they couldn't select reverse gear. The damage to Marcus Taylor's JRE looked terminal.
It's not a problem. This here's the easy part. Are you prepared to take a chance?
Well, the
what we do is we get a piece of wood, put a piece of wood through here, and get it hooked with a bucket or something to reverse into the thing, and we try and push it. We try and bend it in place. It's the best. That's the only chance.
Mark, just jack it up a bit there. About half a K before the finish, we had a bolt on back trading arm pull out, and we've now got to take the back end apart to find ourselves new inserts and bolt and a whole lot for the trading arm so we can get going again. Hopefully we've lost a couple of places in the pits, but hopefully we can get out before too long.
Corbett and Kelsey had matters well under control and had opened up a gap on Gibson and Brown to just under 20 minutes. The terrain was certainly varied and took a heavy toll on the machinery. The odds of Clint Gibson and Mike Brown closing the gap on the leading bat were rather slim. Taylor's misfortune handed Gary Campbell 3rd place overall and the Class B lead. Harper and Chalupsky were now 4th overall and 3rd in Class A, while Van Jaarsveld and Lindeque were still in contention for the Class B lead and a podium finish. Ernest Corbett and Warwick Goosen's strong challenge would soon come to an end when the bat retired with mechanical problems. Terence Marsh and Michael Whitehouse lost a further 30 minutes in the pits replacing a burnt-out igniter, but continued to eventually finish 6th overall and 4th in Class A. Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane managed to repair the damaged rear end on the JRE and went on to finish 7th overall and 3rd in Class B. Brandon Harkis and Achim Bergman were 8th overall, despite having to stop repeatedly to repair the fused lights on the bat, but would later be excluded because of the ongoing light problem. Atang Macheheneni and Mike Stungel rolled down a steep mountainside minutes after this point on the route. Stungel attempted to get out of the cockpit and it rolled further down the mountainside, trapping him under the vehicle. Sadly, Mike Stungel, who was a popular member of the off-road racing fraternity, died at the scene of the accident. He will be sadly missed. Local crew Will Battershill and Reg Sutton had a good run in their new JRE and finished 8th overall and 4th in Class B. Audrey Roets and Dion de Kook managed to avoid being time barred by seconds and were delighted to be classified 9th overall and 5th in Class B. Mark Corbett and Gavin Kelsey delivered the goods for the Century Property Developments team.
It was really awesome. This morning we had a puncture and about 30 people passed us, so we had to work hard to get through all the dust. But Gavin did excellently and we managed to pull through. I mean,
Clint Gibson and Mike Brown were second in the Presidium Financial Services BAT, just over 20 minutes behind the winners.
track was awesome, marking was fantastic. One or two areas obviously that were a little bit concerning, but I mean 99%, you don't get much better. Track, fantastic, a little bit of everything, rough stuff, fast stuff, fantastic.
Gary Campbell finished 3rd overall in the Mighty Mag and scooped the Class B win too. Only 9 of the 66 special vehicle entries managed to make it to the finish of the Nissan Sugarbelt 400, with Audi V8 powered bats finishing 1, 2 and 3 in Class A.
The South African off-road champion.